After 10 years as Monroe County Community College's president, Dr. David Nixon announced his resignation last November. His last day will be July 31st. This is what he had to say about his life, his career, and his time at MCCC.
The start that you ask about is very similar to many of our students, and that's why I like to work at the community college in the environment where there are students that are challenged by life circumstances. The celebration is when they graduate and move on to a career that probably is changing their life. Well, I was in high school in a small town called Dakota City, Nebraska, because Nebraska, the state that I was born in, was a state where my dad was an itinerant farmer, so he moved around a lot. And as itinerant farmers, as you can understand, that doesn't pay much money. None of my family had ever gone to college. So when I got into college, or into high school, I should say, I was not really a student that was looking for a college to go to. Unlike many of our students today that have a lot of assistance, they have a lot of counseling on where they want to go to school, what their careers are. But I got to attend a one-room country school. Mrs. Krause, one of my favorite teachers, was teaching all 8 grades in one building. Today we formalize that and call that teacher-centered learning, because she was facilitating learning among all 8 grades. So the best part about that, when I was maybe a first grader, I was sitting there listening to lectures for the 4th grade students on the other side of the room. I like to dance. Mrs. Krause had to teach us dancing when we couldn't go outside because it was raining and it was muddy or it was snowing. So on our recesses, if you will, when we would have gone outside, she would put a song on the turntable and teach us how to dance. So they were the ones that told me of a school that I could attend, a career technology school, if you will, in Minneapolis. That school, through that successful training, got me a job in a radio station. One of my mentors said, if you're going to be a television journalist, you need to get a 4-year degree. If it hadn't been for that mentor, and I've had many great mentors, I wouldn't have gone to college. They encouraged me to become a teacher. After about 20 years television and radio business, then I started teaching full-time as a teacher in a classroom and loved it. And so my career at a community college after that teaching, or while I was teaching, actually led me to a point where I got a call one night from a firm that was looking for a president in Michigan and said, you need to take a look at this job based on your experience. And I did that, and that's how I got here. Radio and television broadcasting, everything from broadcast news writing to television production to media law, all of that. And I enjoyed it and still enjoy it. And I'm going to be able to do as much teaching as I want after I retire. I'm going to get to teach as much as I want to teach. I'm going to get to do as much consulting as I want to do. The most influential mentor, well, I have to credit 2 people in my life. The first one is my mother. My mother taught us just about everything that we use in everyday life. She was always very positive. She didn't have any money. She worked hard all of her life. Her first lesson was work hard, good work ethic, be nice to people. Be nice to people, she always said that, and look for a silver lining. She could say, even though something looks like a challenge or looks like it's going to be difficult, try to look for the silver lining in that. What good could come out of that? The one that probably did the most for me in my professional life as an administrator in community colleges is Jim Billings, who is a retired president. And he kind of guided me through that and said, we need someone to work in an administrative position at our college that develops resources and marketing for the college. And that led to my job as the full-time fundraiser for that community college district, which was 2 full-service campuses and 5 counties, raising millions of dollars for college projects. He taught me the value of collaboration. He said, even though you're the community college president, he said, you are also important to economic development in the school district, and you're really important in reaching out to other parts of the district and partnering with other resources that the college does not have. I was the chief administrator of a campus of community college about the size of this one, and we found the community willing to partner with the community college. And what we wanted at the college is we wanted it located right on the college campus. That campus now has a wellness center that has a combined city and college library. You know, my 10 years is going to be up next year. And I did that for a couple of reasons. One is I know I'm experienced enough to know that it takes a while to look for a new president. And looking for a new president is something the Board of Trustees do. You know, there's 7 trustees, and that's one of their most important jobs, is hiring a new president. So it takes time to do that. The other reason why I know it takes time to do that, is being experienced at that, is it takes time to tell the whole campus about it and to have the whole campus, the entire campus, participate in that activity. Once the search starts, which has already started, the outgoing president is not involved in that process. Now, I can nominate people for the position, so once the search is started, I can nominate a number of people that I think that would do well in the job. So what I say to you is, the next president, whether he or she is, embarked on some type of another vision, really it's driven, that type of a need is driven right out of the curriculum. Here's what I hope. I hope my legacy is what I've done for students. My message for all the students is to have hope, to find hope, and to actually visualize themselves in that career where they're headed. But the disc jockeys let me come out once a week to the radio station and announce the top 10 songs in our high school. But I visualized myself someday doing that same thing. And I encourage the students to do that. Well, I think it goes back to my mother saying, always look for the silver lining. There are going to be tough times. There are going to be challenges. And that's what sustained me, is saying, yeah, this is really a challenge right now, but let's see how we can make this work. Or let's see the good that might come out of this. The best thing that happened in 2003 when I came here is we had a fantastic staff of faculty and support staff and everyone who had a lot of experience, had been working at this college for years. And the other thing was the college had and has a great reputation. We have been told by people who used to work in ABE here in Monroe County that there are more than 1,000 people more than 10,000 people that live in Monroe County that do not have a GED. But another big challenge was the fact that the less money we had for salaries, compensation for all of the people that work here at the college. In former times, most of the money, 60% of the money that came to run the college came from a property tax that rolled in every year from the people that live in this county. Our employees, and I'm talking about the administrators, those like us, and the people who work out there servicing the students in what we call our support staff, they volunteered to take pay freezes. Now this has been about, we're going into 4 years of that. So they haven't had, compensation big raises in 4 years like they used to get on a regular basis when times were fairly normal. DTE came to us and said, we need nuclear techs. On our welding grant, we placed more than 260 certified welders for great jobs. And there's still 100 jobs opening within 50 miles for welders. The greatest difficulty that a community college faces in Michigan is the fact that for some reason in the state of Michigan, our funding is not driven by the numbers of students we have. In Michigan, it hardly matters if we had 4,500 students or 5,500 or whatever is, we are not rewarded, compensated for all those numbers of students. When I arrived 10 years ago, we had 17 different committees. and I don't criticize that. It was just that that's the way it was done in those times. But because of in communications and how much more rapid communications work these days, there was another form of governance that was needed so everyone could share in that governance. The faculty and the staff came up with what's called an institutional shared governance in the council model. This is about 2.5 years of hard work by our faculty and staff that worked on committees and came up with 3 councils, including a faculty council, a support staff council, that's for all the support staff, the student services, and an administrators council. There are 27 administrators like me that sit on that council. So each one of those councils listens to all of the ideas, suggestions, and proposals that come through, but in this case it goes through 3 councils. A great deal of respect for all the faculty and all of the work they did to become faculty. More than 80% of our total funding here at the college goes for paying our faculty and staff. Well, I owe the college a lot. And the reason is because I've been going to school here at the college the last 10 years in this job. Thank you, Monroe County Community College, for giving me an education.